But like I was saying, we're gonna do some commands in the terminal. Don't worry if you're the type to want to watch it first and then practice later. You don't have to do it as I do it, actually. And actually, I'm actually gonna prefer you not to do it actually, because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't want anybody to get confused. And with Windows, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. We're not gonna use the one that's built in on Windows. I'll help you download something that's gonna basically mimic what I'm doing today. Um, so yeah, just watch for now, right? So there's a few commands that I'm gonna teach y'all, and I'm also gonna write down the commands and the definitions and put it in the drive also. Let me share my screen. So this is the terminal, right? Some of you have seen this before. Some of you may not have, and it's okay if you've never seen it before. Like it looks kind of weird to be honest, but from the terminal, you can do a lot of things. You can like create files, you can create folders, you can delete stuff off your computer, you can access parts of your computer that's not accessible through the regular like GUI, the regular interface, like how I'm just clicking on a folder and I'm opening up a folder or whatever. Like in the terminal, we can do that. Um, we can do more than we can regularly do on our computer. So if you're on Windows, don't practice this until we get something downloaded on your computer, because the commands is going to be a little bit different for you. So first command I'm going to teach y'all is Pwd. It stands for print working directory. What this does is whenever you press enter, it shows you the location that the terminal is currently on your computer. So I'm inside of the users folder and I'm inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. Now, if I was to open up one of these folders, I want to show y'all just to section one. One moment. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna click on this HTML file, right? And I want y'all to notice something. Now, some of y'all probably notice whenever you look at this address bar here, we see a path. Like I see that I'm inside of the users folder. I'm inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. This is on the desktop, which we just clicked on it. And it's inside of a folder called OOP complete. And we clicked on the index.html file. We can see all of that in the browser. Um, some of you probably didn't realize, but you can open up files in your browser. We literally just opened up this index.html file in our browser. If I wanted to open up an image in a browser, I can do that. I can do the same thing. All I got to do is, let me actually, I have a lot of tabs up. But if I wanted to open up this image, all I got to do is drag it over to the browser and it opens up the image inside of the browser. The browser can pretty much open up files. That's what we can conclude. And what I had just showed you when I pressed print working directory, this is where I was. The users folder and the Isaiah Harrison folder. So that's where I'm currently at. So that is what Pwd does for us. And again, don't worry about memorizing these because we're going to be doing these commands over and over. There's only a handful of these that we're going to learn. But that's where I'm at currently. The Isaiah Harrison folder. Now the next command that I'm going to teach, and please stop me if you have any questions. The next one I'm going to teach is the ls command. That stands for list, I believe. And it basically lists out all of the files and folders in the location that you're currently in. So I'm inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder on my computer. And this is listing out all of the folders and all of the different files that's inside of this folder. We can see that we have a desktop folder here. And some people may not have realized, but your desktop is literally a folder. Like what's being displayed on your computer is a folder. So so that's what ls do. It lists out everything inside of the folder. Now I'm going to teach you how to open up the current folder that you're in. So in order to open up the current folder you're in, you press open, then you do space and then dot. This open command opens up whatever location you give it here as the second parameter. So we have the first thing that's open. We did a space and then dot. Dot just literally means the same folder. So we're basically opening up the folder that we're currently in, which is the Isaiah Harrison folder. So if I press enter, it's going to open up the folder, and I can see that I have a lot of things here. So if I go back to this list, I have something called libraries. I have data. I got this weird file here. We got data right here. It does not show library, but it does show that file that I just showed. So, and this basically highlights one of the things I had just said earlier. In the command line, you can see more stuff. You can do more stuff. We saw that we have a desktop folder inside of here and we have a library folder in here. And I don't see that here at all. It's pretty much hidden. So it just goes to show that you can do more stuff inside of the command line. So open dot is to open up the current folder that you're currently in. Now, inside of the command line, we can also navigate around on our computer. Like we can move folder to folder on our computer. When I did the ls command, I saw that I have all of these files and folders. Now, if I wanted to go into the desktop folder, what I have to do is use the cd command, cd, and that stands for change directory. Now, a directory is a folder. Anytime you hear a directory, just think of a folder. So I want to change the directory or change the folder. I want to change it to the desktop. So what I'm going to do is type capital D, because this is case sensitive, and I'm going to press tab. Oh, actually, I have to do /capital D. Okay, so I want to show you something real quick. So I pressed capital D because it was case sensitive. If I press lowercase d, nothing's going to happen. But capital D, and I try to press tab to autocomplete. But I have a few things with capital D inside of this folder. So if I do DE, because it looks like desktop is the only thing that has capital DE, and I press tab, it autocompletes the name for me. So again, that was the first two letters and then tab on your keyboard, and it autocompletes it for us. So we're about to change directories into the desktop directory or folder. We'll press enter. And let me actually blow this up a little bit more for anybody that can't see it. So I press enter. So I should be in the desktop. Now, remember, I just taught the pwd command. This is going to show us where we currently are inside of this terminal. If I do pwd, we can see that now we're inside of the desktop folder. So I hope you're starting to see like the patterns here. First we were inside Isaiah Harrison folder, and now we do a /, and now we're inside of the desktop folder. This is just a file path. And if I do open dot, we should open up a folder for the desktop. And this is everything on my desktop here.
Question, what does that dot mean?
Dot means the same directory or the same file. So remember, so I'm gonna go back real quick, right? I'm gonna teach y'all something. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go back to the Isaiah Harrison folder, and I'm gonna go back to the desktop just to like further explain what dot means. So dot means current directory, right? Now, what I'm about to do is I'm gonna go back a directory. So I'm gonna do CD, because anytime I want to change a directory, I do CD space, and I'm gonna do dot. Two dots, meaning that you want to go back. So I'm gonna press enter. If I do pwd, I'm inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder, right? Now I'm gonna go back to the desktop folder. I do cd. The last time I did de and I did tab, but you can also do dot as in the current directory /de. and this gets you to the desktop as well. And this is why the dot means current directory. Like it's literally saying, change directory, start from the current directory that you're currently in, and then go up to the desktop. And press enter. And if I do pwd again, you can see that we're back in the desktop directory. Did I answer your question, Jabez?
Yes, it did.
Cool. So dot means current directory. 2 dots mean you want to go back. So if I do cd dot dot, I'm inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. If I do cd dot dot, I'm inside of the user folder, and I'm not even sure what what gets me past the user folder. I feel like it's going to default. Oh, it's a slash. So slash is like the let me see if I can go even further. Actually, I feel like I can't. No, you can't go any further than this slash.
What does that slash represent? Is that the root folder?
Yeah, it's the root folder. And then let me see what happens if I open that up. So if I open that, I see applications, library, system, and users. If I do a list to list out everything inside of there, we see even more stuff, but we do see the same things: application, library, system, users. And we also see some more stuff, obviously, because we're inside of the terminal. One thing that I want to warn y'all about is to be careful in here, especially when it comes to like deleting stuff. Now, I didn't teach you how to delete things yet. When it comes to like deleting stuff and like whatever, because when you delete stuff here in the terminal, it deletes permanently. And I'll show y'all whenever we get to that part. And you don't want to like permanently mess your computer up. So just be careful when y'all go to delete stuff. But currently we're inside of this slash folder. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the desktop. This is how the desktop looked right here. Now, if I go down here, I can go straight to the desktop. I don't have to do like cd dot slash users and then cd dot slash Isaiah Harrison. Like, I don't have to go up as slow as this. Currently, we're inside the Isaiah Harrison folder. If you didn't get what just happened, but we're inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go all the way back, and I'm back inside the slash. I'm gonna go directly to the desktop. So cd dot slash capital U for users, and then we have the Isaiah. You see how we're just basically auto completing it, and I have desktop, and I'm gonna hit tab again. Tab auto completes it. I'm gonna hit enter, and now we're inside of the desktop again. Before I continue, you may be wondering why I'm teaching you this stuff, and I should have started off with the why. And the reason I'm teaching this is because whenever you're on a job, they're going to expect you to know how to use the command line. They're going to say cd into this folder and create this file. And if you don't know how to do that, and if you don't know what they're asking you to do, then depending on how much they're paying you, it may be a problem. If you're like, if it's a starter position, they may understand, but you definitely want to know how to use this. And this is a good thing to put on your resume as well. But yeah, that's why I'm teaching this. And also, whenever we go to save our code, we're going to be using the terminal to save our code online. We're not like dragging and dropping folders. We're literally typing it in here, and it's going to save in the cloud. So I want you to get familiar with how the terminal is. So we learned about a few commands. We learned about pwd, which is print working directory. We learned about ls, that's list. It lists out everything that's in the current folder. We learned about the cd command. Like that's all. I think that was everything so far. You're gonna see these commands over and over again. So what I'm about to do now is I'm gonna teach y'all how to create a folder from the terminal. So this is my desktop right here, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I feel like I need to keep repeating that because I don't want y'all to feel like y'all can't talk. But yeah,
are we an hour behind? Yes, that's what's so confused.
So we're currently on a desktop. Now, to create a folder from the terminal, you use the, and I'm moving this over like this so y'all can see the folder actually being created. So, see what is, let's see what is the app for Windows. Okay, so don't worry about the Windows app, because we're gonna download something on Windows where you don't have to use that one. And the reason we're not using the Windows one is because no one uses the Windows one like on the job. Like they use something called Git Bash, and everybody that have Windows have to download that because the commands are different than Mac. Mac's commands and Windows commands are a little bit, it's slightly different. There's some that's the same, but whoever have Windows, don't worry about it yet. I'm gonna give you a link to download the terminal that you need to use. So we're on a desktop, right? The command to make a directory as folder is mkdir, and that stands for make directory. You do space and then you name the directory. So I'm gonna name this testing, and you're gonna see this pop up on my desktop. Enter, and you can see it showed up here. Now it was like on top of the other one, but yeah, let me delete this and I'm gonna show y'all again. Let me move this up.
What does directory mean? And of course, I know some of these answers, but you know.
Yeah, thank you for it. Yeah, it's, I know, I get it. So for anybody that didn't know, directory means folder. So anytime I say directory is folder. So I deleted that testing folder after I made it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make that testing folder again. Instead of rewriting this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press the up arrow on my keyboard, the up arrow. When you press the up arrow, you can see all of the previous commands that you typed before. You don't have to type these again. It's like a lot of shortcuts in here. But I'm gonna press up once to create that directory again, the testing directory or folder. And you can see it showed up here on my desktop. So right now, there's nothing inside of this directory, but I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna put an index file inside of here, and I'm gonna put a CSS file inside of here. And if you catching on, this is where I'm gonna show y'all. This is where I'm gonna show y'all the homework, like redo the homework. So first I need to go inside of that folder that I want to put a file inside of. So I'm gonna CD into testing. I'm gonna hit tab to autocomplete. Now, if I do pwd, I should be inside of the testing folder. If I do ls, nothing shows up because there's nothing inside of there. Now, the way to create a file from the terminal, you use the touch command. Touch makes files. So you do touch, you do space, and then you write the name of the file with the extension. So I'm gonna write index.html. I want to create an index.html file. Let me open this up so I can see this being created in real time. Let me put this down here. So if I enter, you can see that the index.html file was created.
All right, we're gonna have to just watch this on here.
All right, so I'm going to create the CSS file now. The CSS file, you can name it whatever you want. I'm gonna just name it main.css, or actually I'm gonna name it styles.css because CSS stands for cascading style sheet. It's basically how you style your pages. So I'm gonna touch styles.css. That's the CSS file. Now, if I do ls, now we can see that we have the index.html file and we have the styles.css file. You just name this main.css, style.css. It don't matter. The only thing that matters is this index.html. This has to be named this by convention. And there's a reason behind that. Like whenever you go to put your website online, it looks for an index.html file by default because that's how it knows where the home page is. But the CSS, you can name it whatever you want. So now that we have, oh, all right. So was there any questions? And again, we're going to do these commands over and over again. And we're going to drill these into your head because you need to know, y'all need to know these commands.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I know you said that it was case sensitive when you're
Mhm.
trying to get to specific folders, but as far as doing the commands like CD or writing out touch and stuff like that, you know, like proper English, we always use like the capital for the first letter. If we happen to do that, just typing out, like if we type touch with a capital T, but it still create that file inside of the folder, or do it have to be all lowercase?
I would think that is lowercase. Let me check. I doubt. Oh, it works. That works also. So it does work. Now I want to warn y'all about something. Um, even though this works, I would never use capital. And that, the reason for it is because everything works the case sensitive way. Now, if you use capital here and then lowercase somewhere else, or like you forget which like whatever, if whatever you're doing is case sensitive, then you have to have like a mental memory of like what's actually case sensitive, what can't I, put or whatever, like, because not everything is going to work like this, and I'm actually surprised that this works. But just use the lowercase, just yeah. But it does work. It does seem to work. So
Question.
go ahead.
What if my file name has spaces in it? What will I do then? How would I type it in?
Thank you, Chavez. So Jay is from the previous class, if everyone doesn't know, but yeah, he's kind of like helping me fill in the gaps here. So let's say I was to make a file with multiple names. Let's say I wanted to name it my HTML file.html. Now, if you put spaces here, what's going to happen is it's going to create multiple files in here. It's going to create a my file, an HTML file, and a file.html. If I click that, you see everything got created. My HTML and file.html. Now, that brings to the second thing. So the first thing was make sure everything is case sensitive. The second thing, don't ever put spaces. Now you can put spaces, but I would say to never put spaces in anything you do. And I'll show you how to do this without spaces. Do touch. And I'm gonna do my HTML file.html. This is called Camel Case. That's what this is called. And it's like a camel, basically. So we start with lowercase letter, then the first letter of the next word is capital. Write that out. First letter of the next word is capital. Write that out. .html. And this is how we accomplish like multiple word files. So never put spaces. Now, if you must put a space though, and and I'll just teach you for completion, what you want to do is you want to put a quote here. My HTML file dot HTML. You put all of that in quotes, and that's going to create that one file for you, because now the terminal knows that all of that belongs to one name. But like I said, never ever put spaces in here. Trust me, stuff will break if you put spaces in the names of your files. If not now, it's going to break later. You're going to realize that you should have never did it. But so yeah, just best practice. So yeah, so we created two files here. So I taught you how to create a file. Let me teach you how to delete a file. Then I'll teach you how to delete a folder.
Can I ask one more question?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So when you put them on this my HTML file and it created multiple files for it, could we just do it all on one line, like touch index.html space main CSS in one line, or is it better to give everybody their own individual line?
Oh, you're saying to create the HTML file and the CSS on the same?
Yeah, if I could do touch
Yeah.
index and then space main CSS, or is it better to just keep everything on separate lines?
Yeah, the way you just said it is better actually. And thanks for pointing that out. Here we go. So I deleted them. Yeah, you can create them all at the same time. That's actually better, to be honest. So yeah. So Yeah, I would do it this way. This actually this is a lot better. So I'm gonna create another file here. I'm gonna just name it like test.txt, just a txt file. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this now. The way you delete files from the terminal, you do rm, and rm stands for remove. So I want to remove TE and I'm gonna press tab. Remember tab autocompletes for you. I'm gonna remove test. And when you remove this cannot be reversed. It's not gonna go inside of the trash can. Let me empty this trash can. Um, it's not gonna go in there. It's deleted off your computer forever. It's gone. Like there's nothing in here. And that's what I mean by be careful. Don't delete something that you're gonna want because it's gonna be deleted forever. Now I'm gonna make a folder. And I'm gonna teach you how to remove a folder. There's two different ways to remove a folder depending on the situation. I'll show y'all both. I'm going to create a folder called test. Make directory. I'm gonna make a test. So we made a test folder here. Now I'm going to remove this. To remove a folder, to remove a directory, I'm gonna keep saying directory. You do rmdir, remove directory. I'm gonna remove test. That deletes it for me. It's gone. Not even inside of the trash can. It's gone forever. So I'm gonna create the directory again. Mkdir test. I'm gonna go inside of test because I'm gonna put some files inside of there. So I'm going to cd change directory into test. If I do ls, there's nothing in there right now. But I'm going to create an index.html file and I'm going to create a main.css file inside of there. If I do ls, we can see both of them were created here. Move this over. They're both here. And if I go inside of there, obviously, like they're inside of there. So what I'm about to do is I'm gonna go back out. I'm right now. I'm inside of the. I'm doing pwd. I'm inside of the test folder. I want to go back out. Now I'm back here. Here inside of testing. See testing here. I do pwd. We can see testing. We're inside of testing. Now if I try to do that same thing, remove directory test. Remove this here. If I press enter, it gives me an error. It basically an error is file exists. Now you cannot delete a folder that has files inside of it unless you do it a specific way. Now this remove this I mean not make directory. I'm sorry, remove directory. I definitely typed the wrong command. Remove directory. Directory is not empty. I'm sorry, I completely messed that whole error. But anyway, it says directory is not empty. This file exists one, obviously, because it already exists. You can't name something the same thing. But this one says directory not empty. You can't delete a directory that does not have anything. I mean, that has files inside of it with remove directory. What you have to do is, let me see if this works first, because I don't want to tell y'all a command and it does not work. Okay, so let me make that again. So I'm just going to type out, make directory test, and then it's for sake of teaching, I'm gonna teach y'all how to create files inside of a folder without going inside of the folder really quick before I show you how to remove it. So right now we're inside of testing. If I wanted to create an index file inside of this inside of this test folder, I would do touch, and then I would do the path. So it's inside of test. I want to create an index.html file inside of there. And I'm going to create the CSS one as well. So if I go to test, I'm just going to the location where it is on my computer, main.css. So that created two files inside of it without going inside of the folder. As you can see, I'm still inside of the testing folder. Now, to delete this test folder because it has things inside of it, we want to use this command, remove, and this stands for recursive. This is like a flag. -rm is like recursive. and then we're removing tests. So we're basically recursively removing things within this folder. So it's gonna go as deep as it can inside of the folder, and it's gonna start deleting things like inward until it's gonna go inside here. It's gonna delete these first. Then it's gonna come out and it's gonna delete this folder. So it's gonna literally delete everything inside of the folder. If I press enter, we can see that whole thing is gone because everything was individually deleted. Now, this command is actually very powerful, like really, really powerful. We saw that we can see our desktop like from the command line. If I was to run this command on my desktop, I'm clearing off everything that's on my desktop. If I was to run this command all the way inside of users, like close to the root folder, everything inside of my computer is going to be deleted. So like don't ever use, like, be careful with this because you can really damage your computer with this command. So yeah, just a warning, don't come to me when when your files is going if y'all didn't use this the right way. So that's that. Any questions before we go on break, because it's already 11 and we'll have like a 10-minute break.
Is there any way to rename files
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we can
and
definitely
move them?
Yeah. So there's a way. So let me see. Right now we're inside of testing. If I do ls, we have index.html and we have main.css. Now, if I wanted to rename index.html, I use the move command, mv. Now, mv is basically going to move. It's basically going to copy index.html because that's the first. Actually, let me start back over. I use move. I target the file that I want to change, and I want to change it to index2.html. Actually, I'm gonna change the CSS. I think that's probably a better case. I'm gonna change CSS to styles.css, right? Now, what this move command does is it's gonna go inside of this main.css file. It's gonna copy everything in there. It's gonna paste it all inside of style.css. So if I have anything inside of main.css, everything inside of there is going to go inside of style.css. And then it's going to move, hence the move command, it's going to move this to be deleted. It's not going to go inside of trash can, it's just going to be deleted off your computer. So we're basically creating another file, copying over everything, and then throwing the other thing out. Let me press enter. And we can see that style.css is here. Main.css is gone because we deleted it off the computer forever. So, and with folders, it's the same thing. If I do make directory test, we have test here. If I wanted to change that, I'm going to move it. I do actually let me create some files inside of there really quick. Touch. I want to create an index.html file, and I want to create a main.css. We have those in there. Now I'm going to use the move command. I want to move test, and I want to change it to test2. Press enter. Now test2 is here. Test is gone. And if I go inside of test2, we got the index file and the main.css. And test is gone forever. So thanks Jabez for that. I'm delete test. Oh, right, we got to recursively delete it. So rm-rf test2 is gone forever.
And then how do I move files around in the folders? Like if I wanted to move styles to maybe the desktop or something.
Right. So let me create a folder. I'm gonna create test again, and I'm gonna move index.html into test. So if I do mv, I want to move index.html, and I want to move it. I want to put it inside of the test folder, and I'm going to keep the same name, index.html. I'm literally just guessing this, to be honest, and I think this is going to work based off of the logic, how it works. I press enter, it's gone, and it's inside of this folder. Okay. Yeah, I don't normally use it this way, but like just based off of me knowing how this command works, I knew that was going to work, or I knew it was a good chance that it was going to work. So yeah, that's how you move files around. Now, if I want to move it back, let me um, let me. So right now I'm inside of the testing folder. I want to move. I want to move the index.html file that's inside of test. I want to move that into our current directory. So I'm going to move it like this. Now it's gone from test and is back inside of the testing directory. And I'm going to delete, remove directory test. I'm going to delete that because I don't need that no more. To answer your question, Jay?
All the way. Now I understand why NV is move instead of copy. Like
Right.
that makes sense now.
Right. Let me see if
That was breaking my brain.
And you can only move the files to a folder that's inside of the same folder.
You can probably move it a little bit different. Let me see. So if I'm gonna do Mkdir test, then I'll do Mkdir test 2, and I'll create a file. I'll create 2 files inside of, hold on. Why didn't that create file exists? I don't see it. Did not refresh. So it's in here. Let me close this and open this back up. Okay, it was on top of the other one. That was weird. Okay, cool. So we got it there. All right, cool. So I'm gonna put two files in here, and I'll move those 2 files to the testing2 folder. Is that what you meant in your question?
Like you see how hold on, all right. So you inside of testing, but if you wanted, let's say you wanted to move index to like desktop or to like a folder that's outside of the testing folder.
Okay. All right. Let me move it to the. I'm gonna move a folder. I'm gonna move something to the desktop. So test. I'm gonna create an index.html in there. So we have that here. Let me see if I can move it. So I want to move the file that's inside of test, and I want to move that to the desktop. So I do // let me move the stuff out of the way. I never tried this before, actually. Yeah, wait. Oh, I named it. Oh, wait, I named it. I didn't name the file, but it moved it. It moved it. I meant to put, let me try it again. Touch that. So we got that here. I forgot to name it. So move whatever is inside of test. I want to move that to the desktop. So we got to go back a directory, and I want to
Slow
name.
down. You're using touch.
Right. Thank you. Was use move. MV. Right. Move index to the desktop. And I want to name it index2.html. Okay. Did it do it?
Oh, you got index 2.
Oh, you know what?
Uh,
I think I just gotta name it like this. Yeah. So it knew I was going back to the desktop. I didn't have to put desktop when I went back, because going back automatically means you're on the desktop, because I'm in the testing folder and desktop is right behind it. So the folder right behind it, which is the desktop, and then the name of the file. So, and it's going from here.
thank you.
Yeah, we can move it both ways. Let me go back and delete. Let's see. Remove directory. I think I can probably remove more than one. So I'm gonna remove both of them at the same time. Did it do it? File exists. Oh wait, no, remove directory, not make directory. Remove directory. Okay. Did it remove them? Okay, it removed both of them at once. Okay. All right, cool. All right, any questions before we go on break? Okay. All right, we'll go on break for 10 minutes. Right now it's 11:05. We'll come back at 11:11 actually. And then we'll work on the pre homework for the class. All right, see you. I'll be here if anybody have any questions, but I'll see y'all back at 11:11.
Lem.
Yeah.
You can angel numbers. I got you.
Yeah.
Wait, you said 11:11? It's 11:08.
11:08.
Basically in 3 minutes.
Oh,
Wait, my computer time is, hold on, let me see. Time ESC. My computer's probably off.
Yeah, mine say 11 on YouTube.
All right. Yeah, 11:08. I gotta change that. Thank you. So yeah, 11:18. We'll come back. Update that time.
It's about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey Isaiah.
What's up?
Hey, so your Gmail, it is the Isaiah Harrison 14.
Yes.
That is it. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't see it come through the email. Yeah.
Okay. It says sent. It showed your picture and everything, and I guess the abbreviated version of your name. So maybe you just went to like spam or something.
Yeah, probably. It's all good either way. We're gonna save the code on something called Bitbucket from now on, and that's like place where you store code. It's like a let me stop sharing. I'm gonna change my time. Yeah, and we won't have to worry about the emailing thing. You'll literally just give me the URL for where your code is.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yo, so I just seen something interesting, Isaiah.
Yeah. What you say?
So I got a file in here with spaces in the name. Like it's in my documents folder. It's JavaScript class 2, JavaScript 1 word, class 1 word, and then the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the way it navigated to that when I did the autocomplete was by putting forward slashes instead of the backslash.
Yeah.
So it's JavaScript // and then the number 2 with the backslash at the end.
Right. Yeah, the escape characters. So yeah, if you could share your screen, maybe we can get the recording too.
I was gonna say I low key.
Oh, it's all good.
No, I got you. I'm finna do it now. I gotta change Zoom onto the computer instead of the phone because I'm.
No, I can do it real quick. Just to get it on the video.
Yeah, because for some reason my internet's acting a fool.
Mm-hmm.
My computer not wanting to connect up to that mug, so I don't know.
So you're saying like if you did like what was it,
JavaScript class 2, yeah.
Class 2, just like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it used the backslash though.
Right. So
I mean a forward slash. So it was JavaScript / class / 2 backslash.
okay, let me delete. So hold on. It was JavaScript. Wait, you said the / was first? What was it?
So we can't do it like this.
Actually, if you can paste it.
We'll make this a lot easier. You see my face. You see my face.
Yeah, you want to share your screen or you want to paste it in?
Well, I'm gonna do
cool.
Slightly different. Yeah, I'm gonna do that right there. So it's that.
Okay. I see. Okay, yeah. I never actually seen. I see what it's doing. I never actually seen it like that though. So it's like,
That's what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Where'd you find that at? How'd you?
Literally, I just so I did. So as you can see, I went back one directory. I mean one went up one directory.
Okay, you went.
Then I
Okay.
just tried to auto complete it, and it auto completed like that. So I just typed in the CD, the CD dot, you know what I'm saying, JA, and then it auto completed like this. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it looked like if you was to create it this way, then it will work. Like I guess the double quotes or this. So if I do this and do ls, is it in there? Hold on. It's not in there.
So then let me do this.
I guess you have to use double quotes then.
Make directory. We'll add it. Oh no, other side. Then backslash. Yeah, it did it.
Okay, it created it.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Java and her.
I definitely put it, I messed it up. That's why. I meant to put these backslashes was supposed to be after the word, not before the next one. Hold on. Shoot. Yeah, that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the forward slash is after each word. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be harder to remember if anything, but yeah, it's definitely another way to do what it looks like.
No, it just auto completed like that. So I just thought it was cool. But it does that when I'm going.
So y'all saying the forward slashes between the words is another way to make the file with spaces?
Right. So the forward slash in JavaScript is basically the escape character. And you use the escape character to like ignore certain things. And I guess it's in programming in general to like the terminal is not JavaScript. I guess programming. So it's basically saying ignore whatever is in front of this. So what it ignores is this blank space here. So it's as if, I mean, they put it there, but it break it.
Right.
So if you put like a letter or something behind the other slash, it'll pretty much just not create it in the name just because it's directly behind it.
Exactly. There's certain like ways to escape, like \n means like new line, \tab means to put a T is for tab.
Okay.
There's a few different ones. And I'm not even sure if we'll see that honestly, but
Hey, Isaiah, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take us off on a tangent, but if you're not supposed to use the spaces, why do they have the quotes to where you can add spaces in? Like, what's the function on that?
I'm not sure, but if I was to guess, I would think that they will want the terminal to do everything you can do like regularly on your computer plus more. And if it's going to do everything, they have to put a way to put those quotes in. Another thing is sometimes, so most of the time you use a terminal whenever you're making files and stuff, you make the files on like a different computer somewhere in a server. So you don't have access to the actual like computer itself. And maybe they just wanted to have the option to put spaces in different files just in case you wanted to like wanted to put some files somewhere. Maybe that's the reason why. But the reason why I wouldn't put spaces though, and I think that's more important, I would not put spaces because whenever you're coding doesn't, like the programming languages that you're going to be coding in, if you was to reference a file, it may not pick up the file that you're trying to reference if it has a space inside of it. Like there may not be a way to reference a file with spaces in it whenever you're writing a program. And even if there is a way, you may not be able to take into account the different spaces that's inside of like the file. Now, we're going to see more of like file referencing whenever we get all the way to the end, when we do Node.js, and that's like server side JavaScript. With Node.js, you're able to like manipulate files. Like you can create files, create folders and stuff like that. And you can like reference files and folders or whatever. That's when we'll see that more. So,
Okay.
and in
Now,
I think React a little bit too, because remember how we were doing the imports. So yeah.
I definitely understand that. That just popped in my head when I saw the option, to add the quotes, to add the spaces. I was like, why would you even do that though? If it's going to give you problems down the road and,
Right.
stuff like that. But gotcha.
All right, cool. It looks like it is 11:18. We'll start in 1 minute to give people some time to get back to their computers. Stop sharing so I can bring up the assignment.
The best part of waking up is JavaScript in your code.
Cool. We'll get started real quick. So, all right, let me share my screen again. So I'm sharing my screen. What I did was I downloaded the image that we got to create. I'm just gonna pop that right into the same folder, because I'm gonna show y'all another trick that you can use. So I'm gonna open up this testing folder, and I'll actually just name this. I'll rename this, and I'm gonna rename it from the terminal actually, just to get some practice. We're in testing. I'm gonna go back a directory, and I'm gonna rename testing. I'm gonna rename it to, let's say, homework 1, just HW1, and then we can see that it changed here. It's HW1 now. And I'm gonna open this up in VS Code. Now, you can open up folders inside of VS Code as well. I'm gonna CD into the homework 1 folder, because now we have it. You can see we're inside of homework 1. If I wanted to open this up in VS Code, I'm not sure if I have this. This may be something you have to hook up, and I'll send out a video on how to hook it up if it don't work for you. You press code and you press dot, because I want to open up the current directory in VS Code, just like we did open dot to open it up inside of a folder. To open up in VS Code, you do code and then dot. Yeah, so it's opening up right now. Okay. It may be something you have to like hook up also, because sometimes they don't really come with that option.
Yeah, they gotta hook it up. I tried it, it didn't work.
Okay. All right, so we have VS Code here. We have the actual image inside of here, and we have, why is this not loading? Okay, anyway, we have the image in there, and we have the empty index.html and CSS. I'm not sure why this name is coming up double like this. Okay, there we go. So this is the image. All right, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna get a little bit, I'm gonna be very like specific. Like I'm gonna try to recreate this as much as like this as I can. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all of the colors that's on here. And you can do that through the terminal. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this green, this blue, This one looks the same. This, I guess, purple, red looking, I don't know, whatever. And this green looks the same. But either way, what I'm gonna do is I'm first gonna create the structure of the HTML file. I'm not sure if I clearly went over this when I was doing the course, but you write exclamation point and then you hit tab, and that auto completes this whole thing for you. This is that structure of the HTML. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create an image tag, and I'm gonna reference this image. I'm gonna put that image in here. Was it href is html.css png. Just gonna throw that. I'm just gonna throw it on the page real quick, and I'm gonna open this up in the browser. Now I opened this up two ways. You can right click this and press copy path, or you can go inside of the folder and double click the index.html file. Now that we know that we open up different things in our browser with the path, that this may make a little bit more sense. It's literally just copying where this file is located on our computer and opening up that file. So paste that in there, and I get the image. From here, I'm able to get all the colors off of this image. So I open up the DevTools. Yours may look a little different. Mine is black because I put the black styling in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the to here and to the index tab here, and I'm gonna just do like I'm just gonna write a background. I clicked on the body tag. I'm just gonna do background color. I'll just put green for now, and you'll see why I'm doing this. Background color, and I'll just put green here, right? We changed the background color of the body. Now, if I wanted to target a specific color, what I can do is I can click this box right here, right? This green box. This thing opens up here, and then we can click this like droplet thing here. So I'm gonna click that. Yeah, so it has to be blue, and I can click on any color on here, and I can copy that color. So if I click this, we can see that the background color of the body changed to that exact same color. So I know that this is the color that I want. So I'm going to copy that. I'll put that inside of the CSS, and I'll comment it out for now. I'll just say like body background color, right? And let me get the background colors of everything else. I think this may be the same. Yeah, that's the same green. And this one is like a reddish color, brownish. So this is the empty list. I'm just gonna say brown. Brown button. And I'm gonna comment it out. And
Hey, quick question, Isaiah. You have to do the background color first before you can use the eyedropper to pull up, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, I only did background color so I can have have access to this thing.
Okay.
Right. So I'm gonna get this blue. So that blue is like this color here. So blue, that, comment that out. I could get this gray also. That's what this one is. So gray is that, comment that out. And I think that's all of the colors here. This text is a different color as well. That text is this color here. So this is the italics text color. Okay, cool. So we got all the colors on there. I'm gonna delete. Let me make sure. I think everything's on there. This is, I would think this is black. No, it's not. It's not completely black. So I'm gonna say title color. Title color is that. I'm not even gonna go into detail like that. This is too much detail. But either way, I'm just gonna put that black and put these. Actually, I'm gonna put this color and these colors the same. But either way, I have all the colors on here. Let me refresh to get rid of all of that. And I'm gonna get rid of this image also from the HTML. Right, I'm gonna refresh and we don't have anything. So in this image, right, if we used to look at this, every time you create something in HTML, you want to look at like sections of the image. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a screenshot of this real quick, just so I can show y'all the different sections I'm looking at. So this is the image. My screenshot looks a little weird because it got something at the bottom, the zoom stuff. But either way, it's fine. So if we look at this image, right, I see a few things. Now I see the outside here. That's just like the whole background of the whole screen. And I also see a square right here. Like you want to look for squares on the screen. I see this square. So this is going to be like its own like div. Anytime you see a square, you want to think of a div. So that's going to be its own div. We can honestly separate this out also if we wanted to put this inside of one div. So that's like a square or a section of its own. We have this as a section of its own, and we have these buttons as a section of its own. Okay. Now it's okay if y'all didn't like break it up like this, but I'm showing y'all this is because like this is the way you want to think about it. Anytime you create something in HTML and CSS, you want to break it up into sections. Like these buttons all do very similar things. We know that this is going to be like the list of whatever. And this is just like the title and input box. So that can all go inside of one section as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start creating all of those sections in HTML, all of those boxes. So I got one outer box here. I have 3 inner boxes inside of that outer box. So I have a div and I have 3 divs inside of it. Please stop me if y'all have any questions while I'm doing this. So I have a div. That was not a div. A div, right? And inside of that div, I have 3 divs. Now I'm gonna show y'all, I'm gonna teach y'all a shortcut. Instead of me going down to the next line and writing div again, I'm gonna just press Command copy, and I guess on Windows is Control C, or Command C on Mac, and then Command V or Control V, and that literally copies down whatever is on that line down to the next line. You're gonna see me using a lot of shortcuts in VS Code, and it's to your advantage to try to learn them. So we got the outer div here, and we got those inner 3 divs. Now the outer div, I'm just gonna name this. I'm gonna give it an ID, and I'll name it, let's say, to-do list. To-do list. Here we go with that Camel Case again. They always use Camel Case. Now I'm gonna give this ID. This one is the top section here. This is this top section here. So I'll just name this like header. So I'll say header for that. And then this middle section, I'll name this list. You want to make these names as descriptive as possible. These may not be the best ones, but just the ones I'm thinking off the top of my head. And this last section down here is buttons. So I'll just say BTN, because BTN is actually no, I'll say buttons because it has multiple buttons inside of that. So from here, now that we have like those 3 boxes outlined, we can start going into each box and really breaking it down. So I'm gonna add some comments in here as well, just so that we know what's going on. I'll say this is the to-do list. Don't be afraid to use comments whenever you're coding. I'll say this is the header with input box.
What shortcut are you using to turn those words into comments really quickly like that?
Yeah, this is the list. So that shortcut is either Control / or Command / thanks, Jay. So Control / or Command /. You never have to worry about the syntax or in other words, how you write a comment again, because you use that command and it's going to comment it out for you. You don't have to remember that you had to write all this stuff to comment it out. Now say this is the buttons section, right? Now comment that out as well. All right, we have all of our sections. So now we'll start with the header. The header has a few things. My to-do list. Double click an item to mark it complete, and we have this input box here. So I'm gonna write this one first, my to-do list, and I'll write that inside of. I'm just gonna write an H1 tag. H1 stands for heading. Now we could have wrote like a P tag, like I taught in the actual class, but I'm gonna use different tags here because you're gonna see different tags. H1 is a header tag. So I'll say my to do, and I'll show you the difference between this and a paragraph. So if I was to do the same thing in a paragraph, I'm going to show y'all. And I'll actually show y'all the rest of the head tags while we're here, just so that it's not foreign to anybody. We have H tags all the way to H6, I believe. And you're going to see why it's like that in a second, as soon as I pull it up in the HTML. H6. And the last one is the paragraph. I'll just say paragraph in here, just so that we can differentiate that whenever we see that on the screen. And I'll say, yeah. So H1 all the way down to H6, right? If I refresh this, we can see what's going on here. Basically, H1, all of those H tags are heading tags. Now, if you want to do a heading, you want to do like a subheading, a subheading, etc. That's why we have those tags there. And this is that paragraph tag. So that's how all of these compare to that one tag. And I'll delete these now, and I'll just keep that H1 tag because I mean that's the main heading that was in the picture. And we could have used a paragraph tag and adjust the CSS if y'all wanted to, but I'm just going to use a heading tag. So that's that. Now let's do this one. Double click an item to mark it complete. So double click an item to mark it complete. Now there's two ways y'all could have did this. You could have used the P tag, right? And then gave it like some styling in order to make this like more like italic, which you can do. And I'm gonna do it from the dev tools so y'all can see. I'm gonna open up the heading and I'm gonna go to a paragraph here. And if you want to change a style inside of the dev tools, you click inside of here where it says element.style. This is where you click inside of. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the font style, I believe it's font style. And we can go down to italic here. And we can see that this changed to italic. So you can do it that way. If I unclick this, obviously it goes back. But either way, you can do it this way with the CSS route, or you can use the S tag. And this is a tag I literally just found out about by one of y'all actually. And I didn't know about the S tag. The S tag makes it the same. Wait, not S tag, my bad. The I tag. Italics tag. Okay, and then that makes it italic by default. So I'm just gonna use the I tag for now.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Do you use the EM tag also, or had you heard of it?
Oh, right. Yeah, that is another one. It should do the same thing, right? EM.
Yeah, I think the I tag just reads it in italic if you have a voice reader, or the M tag reads it, one or the other one.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know the difference, but yeah, it's a good thing you brought that up though, because some websites or apps have to be like compliant with there's something called accessibility, and you said something about it reads off like it reads it like from the page. Certain tags helps like screen readers or people that can't like like see color, or they can't actually see what's going on, or whatever, like some kind of disability. Like these tags help those individuals consume the website or app a lot better. It's more user friendly for them if you use these different types of tags.
Yeah, the EM changes it, but the I is the one that you actually want to do for the reader. So for anybody else wondering.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
No problem.
But yeah, so I'll just put the I just for now, just so we can get that out. And now we need this section here. This is one of the things I didn't teach in the course, this input box. Well, I didn't teach it in those sections. So I think this is one of those places where y'all had to Google. Now that is input box, obviously. So we write input, we hit tab to autocomplete it for us. If I hit save, and go back here, you can see the input box shows up on the screen. And the next one is a button, actually. And to be honest, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in its own box by itself, because this seems like it's getting kind of like it seemed like this may be its own like box. So I'm gonna take this out and I'm just gonna put a div here. I'll put the input box inside of that, and then I'll put the button. Now, typically you should use the button tag to create buttons, and that is what it says add. But like in practice, like I never see people using this button HTML tag, and I never use it, to be honest. And the reason I don't use it is because you see how we have to we got to style this, got to make this blue. Now, whenever you're dealing with buttons like this, first you got to remove the styling that's already there by default, and then you have to start styling it yourself. So instead of me doing all that work, like I said, this is probably the better way to do it either way, to remove it and then add it, because of that whole accessibility thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make these divs. Like I don't use the button tag at all. I just use a div. I know it's a box, so I'm just gonna make a box, and I'm just gonna style it with my CSS. I'm gonna give this an ID. Actually, I'm gonna give this a class of BTN. Y'all gonna see why I'm giving it a class for right now, and I'll actually give it an ID as well. I'll give it an ID of add BTN. So this is the add button, the only one that's gonna get this ID, and it has a class of BTN. The reason I did the class is because I want to give this same class to these buttons as well, because these will share the same CSS, because they look very similar. The only thing that differs is the color. So I'm gonna put all of the general CSS into one thing. So I'm just looking at the time, so I might have to speed up a little bit. So we got the add button, right? So what I'm gonna do is go to the CSS really quick and put that button there. I know that the add button is the color blue, so I'm gonna give this color here. So I'm gonna say background color blue. I have to give, wait, that is not, wait, did I just copy the wrong? Yeah, I copied brown. Need blue. Background color blue, this blue color. Okay, we have to, let me just show you real quick what this looks like. If I refresh this, did I save the HTML? Yes, I did. Add button.
Is that where so there was something called reset CSS. What is that?
So we didn't use the reset CSS for here, but why is that not? We didn't use the reset CSS right now. I'll get to that a little later actually. But for those who are wondering, reset CSS helps. So different browsers, things look different in different browsers. Chrome, Safari, Opera, whatever. All those different browsers, things look different because the HTML and CSS, the default CSS for the HTML is different in different browsers. Reset CSS helps us normalize that whole thing. It helps us make everything look the same on each different browser or whatever's reading your HTML file. We didn't go over that yet, and I'll go more over that a little bit later. But what I'm doing basically is I gave it a background color, and I'm not sure why it's not showing up. So I'm debugging it in here, and I can see that this, like, we don't see the styling down here. Can anybody guess like why we don't see the styling, even though we just put it inside the CSS file? I mean, yeah, inside of the CSS file.
Did you link to CSS?
Right. Did not link the CSS. And that is up here. Was it main dot style.css? Okay, cool. So we also got to give that a height and width. Let me give this, and I'll just style it from here for sake of time. So here, if I gave this a height of say 10 pixels, it's going to adjust it in here. Give it a width of say 20 pixels. Actually,
when you use the button tag, I don't think I had to do that. I mean, I know there's multiple ways, of course, to get it done. I was just letting you know, when I used the button tag and put add, it created everything for me. I just had to add the color and.
okay, yeah, that's actually, yeah. Let me actually show y'all the correct way of doing this, because this is probably better, and this is going to help me actually, because I was going to have to teach something else also. So this is the button, right? It has the color in there. Now I want to get rid of all of this styling that's on this button. You can see that it has like this border here, and the picture don't have that border. So I think that's outline none. It's outline? No, it's not. Border, yeah, border none. I'm just guessing. And that literally with CSS, once you start learning these rules, you just start to guess around. So I got rid of the border. We didn't want a border on there. Also, notice is this has like a circular sort of look to it. So to get that circular look, we use something called border radius. Border radius, it basically defines like how round something is. So if I start off at 1 pixel and I want you to look at this button here, as I increase this, it starts to become more and more round, see, up until when it stops, basically. So I'm just going to say, I think 10 pixels is about enough for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give every button these 2 CSS rules. And actually, I'm going to give it some padding. It look like there's like some space like on the sides and on top here. So I'm gonna give it padding. And these CSS rules, there's so many of these things, but you use them over and over again, and you start to really like it starts to become repetitive after a while. So for padding, right, we can change the top and bottom and left and right at the same time. Now this first one, this 1 pixel is top and bottom. So if I increase this, we can see that it's increasing the padding for the top and bottom. And the second one is the left and right. If I increase this, we can see that it's just increasing the padding left and right. Now I'm gonna adjust this so that it looks more like the what's on the screen. It don't have to be perfect, obviously. So the top and bottom, we got 4 pixels. The right and left, we have 14 pixels. And like I was saying, this CSS is going to become second nature the more and more you use it, and you start guessing your way around it. So that looks about right, I think. I think that's fine. I don't have to be perfect. So we'll put that in here. No, not there. I'm going to put that the class of BTN because I want all of the buttons to have this style. Right. So we got this so far. Let me try to push through the next thing. All right, so we got that. Let's get this list here. And this is another thing we had to Google, actually.
Yeah, I have some question on button.
Mm-hmm. What's your question?
Could you use the button to link to another page, just like the href attribute?
Yeah. So you can't, if you was to use anchor, you would have to put the anchor inside of the button like that, and then put the URL inside of that.
Okay.
Or actually, no. Actually, you want to wrap the button inside of the anchor tag like that. So that way, no matter how much space this takes up on the screen, whatever you click it, it's gonna go to whatever you want to go to. So yeah, and this may actually change the styling of this as well. If I refresh or didn't change the style, if I click on that, we should go to Google. My internet's pretty slow, but yeah, we can see it's loading Google right now. I'll just leave that there just for like a bonus, just so y'all can like see how that works. But yeah, I just wrapped the button. I wrapped the button inside of I wrapped the anchor tag around the button basically. So what next? This here. Some of you may have had to research that one as well. Now, basically, whenever you see a list, you can use two different things. You can use something called an unordered list, that's UL. And inside of that, you give it list items. Let's say list 1. Let's say the first thing is going to be 1, second thing 2, third thing 3. And it's going to look like bullet points basically. We did not order this. This is an unordered list. If I save this and refresh, we see bullet points. They're not like ordered. But if I do ordered list, OL, that's what OL stands for. This turns this into an actual list with numbers in it. So we got unordered list with the bullet points and ordered list with the numbers there. So we got that there. Now we got to put a strike through this number 2. And I honestly forgot Jay, how did you actually I'm not even going to go the complicated route. So in this picture, we see the number crossed out here, but that was like, we don't, do you have the CSS rule, Jay, for that? Or
Yeah. Strikeout. I use the text decoration line through.
okay. So what I'm gonna do is inside of the CSS file, I'm just gonna say strikeout. That's gonna be my CSS rule. That's gonna give me a crossed off sort of look. Now it's text decoration. What was it?
Strikeout.
Line through. Oh, sorry.
Text
Or line through. I'm sorry. Text decoration line through. I'm tripping.
line through. Okay. And what was the other? What was the other thing?
That was the strikeout. Let's see. I just gave it a class of strikeout. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was another one. I think it was called. Hold on, let me see. I think it's the OL.
Camel Case this also. Why you look for that? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this class
list style position inside.
What was it?
List style position
List
inside.
Style position inside. Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna comment this out first, right? And I'm gonna add this class to this second one here and give this a class of strikeout. And if I refresh, we see that the word is the only thing that's striked out. But if I go to this in the elements, I'm gonna click this box right here, and I'm gonna click this to bring it directly into view. I had commented this out, this list style position. I'm gonna put that back in, and we can see that everything is crossed off. But I mean, we did get that change in styling right there. You can see it kind of jumped upward. So in order to like sort of combat that, actually I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave this one out actually, because I feel like if I start styling that, it may get too involved. But
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Question.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
I was gonna say, could you just basically scoot it to the left?
You could,
You know
but when you start when you start like moving things, like this by default already is tabbed in, right? A certain amount of space. When you start like nudging other things to match like one case, that's when your code becomes like really, really buggy. It's like you start to get to this point where it's like, okay, like this one little thing like was the reason why we did this. Like you want to try to write as least code as possible. So if it's too involved, I try to like to avoid it, to be honest.
No, I meant like list out position inside the whole table and then nudge it back over to the left. Nudge like the whole table back to the left. Because that's pretty much what I did. Is that still pretty much too much?
It might be considered too much because if somebody reads this, you're saying put it inside of the OL.
Exactly. And then move the OL over to the left.
Yeah.
That way it always strike out everything.
Yeah, it strikes out everything. But if you put it like this, now it does work. But if you put it like this, anytime anybody want to do this style, they may not realize that this is what help. Now you can put a comment here, like this is used to strike out the number, right? And I will probably put a comment. If you do it this way, I'll put a comment here just so they know,
Hey, real quick, kind of I guess a more abbreviated version of that. When you're on your main page, not the CSS page, but your main index.html, what I did was because I put the number 2 to-do list inside of the paragraphs tags, also just use a tag that was just S like Sam, and that automatically crossed out the whole line as well. So I didn't have to add anything to CSS. I just did it directly in the main page.
Like that.
Right, exactly like that.
Let me take this out. It don't cross out the number. That's the only thing.
Just the Now I did add the you do have to add the number, so it have to be the number 2 dot and then CWO, and it'll everything inside the paragraph tag pretty much.
Right. Yeah. That'll work if you was to put them in S paragraphs. That will like this basically.
Yeah. Even so, yep. You ain't even got to put the paragraph tag, just how you have it.
Something like that. But yeah. That'll work too. So there's a lot of ways to do the same thing. I probably wouldn't use. Actually, you could use paragraph tags. I mean, it's fine if you did. I'm gonna just leave like this for now. Did I remove it? Yes, I did. Let me do that. Class. Strike out. That out. Okay. All right. So we're here and we have literally 5 minutes left. Did I remove? Yes, I did. I removed that. All right. All right. So we're here. Okay. Now let's do these buttons quick. Now those buttons, I'll just do something similar to this. They're going to have the same class. Not going to have the same ID. So I'll copy that down, and we had clear completed. Clear completed. Okay. We had empty list, and we have save list, right? If I refresh this, all of these don't have background color because we didn't give it to them yet. Now we have blue, we have the brown, and we have green. So actually, instead of giving these IDs, I'm gonna change this around a little bit. What I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna get rid of this add button since this is just giving me the background color. If I refresh, we got gray for all of them because I got rid of that add style. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say blue. I'm gonna give it a class of blue. Anything with a class of blue, get this background color of blue. And I'll do the same thing for the other things where I'll say brown and then give it this. And the other one is, what was it?
You copied the blue color to the brown.
Green. Oh, thank you. Brown. Wait. That is, yeah, this one. And green here goes here. Okay, cool. And inside of here, I'll give this another class of, what was that? Blue. Blue. And I'll give this a class of blue. This a class of brown. You can see that we can give multiple classes. And this a class of green. And that should apply all styles. And inside of this to-do list here, I'm going to style this. I'm going to do that in here so we can see it. I'll say, actually, first I'll give the body the background color of green really quick. So body, I'm not going to give it a class because you don't generally give body tags any classes. You want to you want to avoid giving a body tag a class. It's just not something people do. I'm not sure the reason behind it, but we just don't really do that. So refresh, we got green for the body. Now the to-do list has to have a background color of white, right? And it also has some padding around it to give it some space on the side. So I'll say padding, 1 pixel. Increase this. I think this is about right. And I'll say, I'll give it some border radius as well. Border radius. And I'll give that, I'll stop about there, 12 pixels. And I'll actually give this a width as well. I'll say width of, say 100 pixels for now. I'm going to adjust this. I want to give it a width because it's going to look different if I increase this. Say 400, say 300. Give it a width of 300. Actually, no, we want the buttons to fit on the same line. So, all right, cool. 314. So I'm going to copy all of this stuff and paste that in the CSS part. And that was named to-do list. It had the ID of to-do list. Did I not copy that? Copy. Paste. Okay, let's refresh. And we're good. We pretty much have the same thing. Now, not everything looks perfect, but it's as close as we can get. And well, we can get a little closer, but like it's basically the concept. And the only thing I forgot is that gray background color. Let me give it that real quick. So I'll give this a class of gray. And I'll set that up in the CSS. So we'll have gray. Gray background color of this one. Gray. Refresh, and we got the gray background color there. Now we're at 12 o'clock and the class does end at 12. So what I'm gonna do, first I'll take any questions as always, and I'll stay until all questions are answered. And actually no, I can't stay. I can stay for 5 minutes afterwards because I got something to do after this. But either way, I'll show you how to save this stuff online in the next class, and we'll save exactly what we see here. And if you don't have any questions, I'll see everyone on Tuesday.
I do have a question. What sections should we be going through on Udemy?
Right, thank you. So you want to go through, start section 3. That's the JavaScript. Try to get through as much of it as possible. because we're going to start doing JavaScript in the next class. So I would say, actually, I would say the whole of, at least watch the whole section and then go back and do it, or however you want to study. So section 3 is what you should get through. And in section 3 will also be the videos for Tuesday as well. So we will have 2 days to 2 class days to fully get through section 3. By next Sunday, we'll be on section 4. We'll start section 4 next Sunday. So if that makes sense.
What time Tuesday?
17
Yeah,
EST.
I have
7. Okay.
Yep, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST.
and could we like get the recording for this class?
So can we get the what?
The recordings for this class so that we can go through the video.
The recordings is on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna upload this to YouTube, and I'm gonna also put the code into the Google Drive so you can look at it also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions.
Go ahead.
I do have a quick question. I know a lot of times in that box there be the grade text, grade out text in the input box. How do you get that?
Oh,
That placeholder text.
yeah. Right. So yeah. Yeah, placeholder. And where's the input? Is here. You can add another attribute called placeholder and say to do item. So that's what I write. No, I didn't. To do item. Here we go. To do item. And it deletes if you whenever you start typing. Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, and you're just going to send out the link for the command line program for Windows, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna send you all what to download. Now, after you download it, the stuff is gonna be exactly the same. All of the commands.
Okay.
And then question,
Mhm.
the pixels, can you explain some of the other units of measure, like for sizing?
Yeah, so you can use pixels. That's literally just like each pixel on the screen. You can use something called M. Now, M is a relative, it's a relative measurement. 1 M equals 16 pixels. I like to use M. You can use like fractions of an M. You can use like 0.1 or whatever. And let me actually show y'all on a page. So here, I'll change this to 1 M instead. So if I increase this, you can see M is a lot. Since it's 16 pixels, you can see the increase. You can noticeably see the increase because we're literally adding 16 pixels each time. Whereas if we had 1 pixel, then like every addition was like small. But either way, that's one. You can also have a percentage. Now the percentage won't look right in this case, I don't think. I do 1%, and it's the percentage of its like parent. So since this add button is inside of this anchor tag, it references its parent. And I'm not sure exactly how the calculation is done, but I feel like these may be different sizes whenever the parent changes its size. So I wouldn't use percentage here, but we can use percentage, we use M, viewport. So VH is the viewport height. Like if you want to make something the height of the whole browser. Now, obviously, these aren't as like the padding isn't the whole size of the browser, but I think that's better explained if we was to use it on to-do list itself. If I wanted this whole white box to be the height of the whole browser, I'll just do height I just do 100 VH. Now it takes up 100% of the browser. We're able to scroll because I have, first of all, I have some download thing at the bottom. And also like there's some margin here at the top and some margin at the bottom. If we got rid of those margins, let's say margin 0 for that. No, I did not. That is margin. Oh wait, the margin on the, there's some padding on the body. Padding 0. Padding, yeah. Padding 0. Margin 0. Okay, there was margin on the body. So, but either way, now let me also put this full screen. So we were not supposed to scroll, and I think we're able to scroll because this one has some padding. If I get rid of that padding, yeah. So now we can see that at the very top is the height of the browser, and at the very bottom it ends off as the height of the browser. And if I do the width of 100 VH, I mean VW, that's the viewport width. It takes up the full width of the screen. So we got pixels, we got M, we got percentages, we got viewport height, we got viewport width, and I said we had M before. We also have something called rem, and rem is essentially the same as M, except for there's a specific difference between rem and M. I don't want to go over that exactly right now, but why is it not doing it? With one rem? I'll go over the difference between M and rem a little bit later. I want to but it's basically almost exactly the same. It's still 16 pixels. Rem basically the difference is rem is always 16 pixels. M is not always 16 pixels. M is relative to its parent, and rem is always relative to each pixel on the screen. So so if something is like, if this was M instead, we can see that it takes up the same amount of space. But if I change the spacing of the parent, we're going to see that this is going to increase. It's not going to look like 28. It's going to look like more like 32, or it really depends on how much you increase the parent. But either way, in this class, just use pixels and rem. Pixels and rem mostly. And we'll see edge cases where you'll use the rest.
Yeah, a quick question, man. Are you gonna leave the previous cohorts videos up on YouTube?
Yeah.
Or do you? Okay.
Yep. Everything's up on there. Yep. This one's gonna go under a different playlist. It would just be like cohort 4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. All right, I gotta head out of here. If there is any additional questions, y'all feel free to put it in the Q&A. And yeah, and I'll see everybody on Tuesday.
Catch y'all later.
Have a good one.